Hello Internet, we are back with another battle report. It's been a while, things have been crazy, it's Canada, so it's cold and stuff, it's very hard to be productive. Today. It's snowing today, so got to. So we're doing a Highlander. We're doing our own version of Highlander apparently, because there's multiple versions of Highlander, because no format can ever stay intact in this horrible game, so.
Post-fifth apocalypse.
Yeah, post-fifth apocalypse. I am joined today by Clarence, aka Clarence, I guess, or Ski Mask Mohawk, and Pierre, aka Deadlights. So, what are you playing, Clarence?
I'm playing 1500 points of Space Marines.
Cool. What are you playing, Pierre?
Dark Eldar.
Dark Eldar. Okay, so yeah, 1500 points. It's fairly limited. No one can spam anything. We'll go into the details of that probably in the post game, but right now we'll just move into explanation of armies and the overall terrain, and then we'll get things rolling. So like any decent people, we talk about the terrain before the game, especially in 7th where there are no terrain rules apparently, or you can just make up your own data slate. So consider this us making up a lot of data slates. Let's start over here. This was once called area terrain, now it's just terrain because who the fuck cares. Basically we're playing this as a 5+ cover if you're in the bubble. And a little more involved, you can't really move through the trees because we have no ability to remove them and there's no rules to provide for removing elements anymore. I'll stop editorializing though, so yeah, you can't move through unless you're infantry, but if you're close enough and you can get in the bubble, you can get covered. Except for vehicles, because fuck vehicles. The hill over here, it's difficult only in so much that transitioning from the levels of the steps are difficult. The actual area is open. If you land on it, you're not taking it dangerous. Again, only if you're moving from the difficult. Low cover here, 5+. We also play this something called Destructible. Real simple. You want to tank shock through it or ram your way through it as a walker or something. You can pull it off, take it dangerous. Simple as that. You would do it dangerous for each section you're pulling, so got to be careful. Big guy over here, basically a ruin. We're playing sort of 5th ed, 6th ed style ruins where there's actually rules for ruins. Mostly because a combat might happen and we won't be able to solve that. Simply put, you can climb up, moving through the floor 1 inch, roll a 3. We count this as 3 because, hey, why not? And pretty simple, 4+ cover, as long as you're obscured, no magic. Going over here, same shit, this is a ruin, not difficult inside, can only go where you can fit, we're big on path. Only abstraction is you can melt through the doors, but you have to be able to fit, so if you're something big, like a giant walker or something, you're gonna have to go around, you can't go through the door. The statue's not actually a statue, but those rules are probably gone anyway. The Wrecks, we play them as having the same armor they always would, so there's a Chimera, 12, 10, 10. Any side can actually attack a Wreck, try and remove it. Any glance will just pull it, but any pen will also make it explode, so fun there. We also play all Wrecks as impassable, make it simple. More statues over here, more ruins. Essentially everything we're going to see is a ruin or low cover for the most part. Same shit, you can only fit where you can fit. So, a walker probably could fit there, so you can assault there. If you can't fit over here, you can't assault there. Big on path. Alright, that's pretty much it for terrain. Always good to discuss terrain before a game. We'll now move on to everybody's armies.
So this is my 1500 point Space Marine army. Starting off first with Warlord traits because we choose them for this tournament. I chose Master of Ambush for Tigurius instead of his normal one. I'm using Ultramarines as my Space Marine trait, so that's why I have Tigurius despite the paint scheme. And he's front and center there, so starts with Tigurius. I have 5 Thunderhammer Stormshield Terminators. I have a unit of Scouts, a unit of Assault Marines with just like a Melt-A-Bomb, 3 Dev Centurions with the Grav Cannons and Amps and Missiles and stuff, a unit of 10 Last Cannon Devastators, Stalker with Stormbolter, Storm Talon with Skyhammer Missiles, Multi-Ulta Dreadnought in a Drop Pod with a Locator Beacon, and 5 Scouts with the Melt-A-Bomb and the Landspeeder Storm with the Heavy Bolter. And that's pretty much it.
My Warlord trait is Strategic Genius, +1 to seize the initiative roll, and we roll reserves while my Warlord is alive. My Warlord's the Homunculus. He's got a Webway Portal, Scissor Hand, Hex Rifle, and Armor of Misery. We got 10 Cabalite Warriors with a Sabarite Blaster Dark Lance. They're in a Raider with a Dark Lance. We got 5 Witches with a Hecatrix, Blast Pistol, and Agonizer. They're in a Venom with the upgraded cannon. I've got 10 Incubi, which I forgot at home, so they're substituted as Orcs today. They've got the Clavix upgrade in there. I've got Razor Wing Jetfighter with Dark Lances and the cannon upgrade. I've got 5 Scourges with 2 Blasters and 2 Heat Lancers. We've got a Ravager with 3 Dark Lances. We've got 9 Reavers with 3 Blasters, 3 Caltrops, a Champion with an Agonizer. And we've got the Talos Pain Engine with Chainflail upgrade.
So, this is our deployment. We got 5th Ed corners with 5 objectives, and I was gifted this corner originally. I only deployed straight up the Stalker and the 5 Assault Marines, the rest infiltrated, so I got to see how he deployed first, and then I put some nice Devastators up here to kind of get like an angle on the entire thing. Some more Devastators here. My Grav Centurion Tigurius unit of originality, and some scouts just over there to try and screw around. And on Tigurius, for powers I got Ignores Cover, he gets to reroll things and Scryer's Gaze, so really only one of the good powers, but he's good already. So for reserves I have the Drop Pod and Dreadnought coming down turn 1, and then Tornadoes and Deep Strike and playing in normal reserve.
Okay, and I got everything here deployed. For combat drugs, I rolled the one that gives me +1 weapon skill, so that's wonderful. I've got in reserves Archon with a Incubi and Scourges deep striking in, Flyer flying in off the board, obviously. Everything else is in transport. I've deployed like this, nothing really special to comment on here. Pretty much ready to go. About to roll Seize the Initiative. I seize on a 5-up thanks to my Warlord trait, so let's see this. Nope.
So it's the end of Space Marine turn 1, and starting right over here, my pod came down, scattered behind the church, and my Dreadnought disembarked. My Landspeeder Storm Heavy Bolter killed the Raider there for first blood, and killed a bunch of guys in the explosion. My Dreadnought hit actually with the multi-melta, but his Jink easily saved him with the Ravager. So, but at least he can't shoot as well next turn. Moving on over here, the Dev Centurions killed both the Venom and the Talos. But it's not very surprising because I got Twin Langton Norse cover from Tiggy, who almost died from perils. And then the rest of my army tried to shoot at the Talos, and he made all of his feel no pains before the Centurions shot. So that's pretty much it for me, and see you on the end of Dark Eldar turn 1.
Alright, so kind of a bit of silly mistakes on my part this turn. I moved my bikes up, shot at the Dreadnought, and then charged it, forgetting that Hammer of Wrath is only things that get into base to base during the initial charge, so only one bike got into Hammer of Wrath hits, and did nothing. Moved my warriors, fired some shots at the Landspeeder there, took off a hull point, I think. Moved my Ravager, missed because it was jinking, and I ran my witches behind this building over here. And that was my entire uneventful turn.
Alright, so this is the bottom of Space Marine turn 2. Starting over here, I killed the one witch I could see from this kind of area. Moving on down, I blasted his Ravager, but in casting my Centurion powers, Tigurius suffered another wound from perils, so that's pretty fun. And then moving down here, the Landspeeder Storm killed another special weapon warrior with the snap-firing heavy bolter. The scouts charged into the combat and lost 2 guys, but I killed a total of 2 more jetbike people, and they hit and ran over to the edge there. And that's pretty much it. My Tornadoes came down off the pod and ran. So see you guys at the end of Dark Eldar turn 2.
So not a very good turn for Dark Eldar here. All of my reserves came in. I stuck my Homunculus with the Incubi in the cover for now, just to keep them safe. My plane flew on, took a shot at the Rhino there and didn't destroy it, did nothing to it. Scourges came in, scattered away, tried to hit the Rhino again, failed, did nothing. Over here, through combined fire and assault, I managed to take out, I believe it was 3 Terminators, then failed my hit and run, and I'm now stuck in combat with the remaining 2 Terminators. So not looking great for Dark Eldar right now.
So this is the bottom of Space Marine turn 3. Starting over here, my scouts came out of hiding from underneath the walkway, shot up the Scourges a bit and charged in. Failed all my arm saves in combat though, and he passed his feel no pains, so we're now even in that fight. Over here I moved my Assault Marines up, and I shot his plane with my plane and my Centurions, so I killed it. Moving on over here, I turbo boosted my stalker to block the doorway off, so his orc cubi couldn't rampage out into my centurions. So happy I managed to pull that one off. And then finally over here, charged the dreadnought into the bikes, and I killed a bunch, and they ran away. And I charged the scouts into the warriors, and I killed them off. So it's looking pretty good, but see you at the end of Dark Eldar turn 3.
End of turn 3, the bikes kept running away. I believe at this point they need heroic double ones to get to not run away, so they're going to be on off the board. Finally, I managed to get my incubi up onto the balcony, then charged them into the unit of Centurions, and I wiped the Centurions out. So that was a small victory in this game of horrible, horrible mistakes. I got my witches up into this objective, but they're going to get shot down by that flyer over there, so that's not great. Then in my combat over here, the Scourges killed one guy, lost 2 of theirs, and broke. So they need heroic to get away now. So it comes down to I have 1 unit left on the board that really matters. So we're going to call it there, I think.
And we're back. So we ended on turn 3. Got pretty bloody. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of the game, I was just going to go over a bit of the Highlander shit. So I guess we're not doing pure Highlander because the main difference for us is when it comes to troops, you don't have to take 1 of every troop before you can take a duplicate. So that opens things up a little bit for some armies. It's less punitive. And what we have done is put some weird limitations like for demons, for example, when you're doing heralds, you can only ever have 1 normal and 1 named for each type. That gets a bit weird because they're bought as one thing, but they're separate models. I think the only other place it gets weird is a bit like with IG, because of platoons. And again, we're just going to say, okay, well, 2 platoons. If you want to run 500 models, fuck you. So basically, what we saw was 2 different Highlander lists. Now, Eldar... Dark Eldar and Orcs, I think, get a little bit penalized because they really need their transports, so it makes mech tough. And I guess Marines obviously get penalized the least with Highlander. I don't think there's much argument of that. But basically, we're going to have an event coming up. Everyone's been throwing in Highlander lists, seeing if we can kind of break it. See if
Orcs beat Tau.
Orcs beat Tau, so that was fun. Chaos beat Necron, so that was fun. So we're definitely seeing weirdness, which is kind of what we're aiming for. It certainly doesn't fix balance, it just alters it, no question there, but so far so good. So going into the game, I guess, Clarence, can you give me an MVP and an epic fail?
MVP was probably the Death Centurions with Tigurius, just because you kill what you want to with them in like 1 shot.
Yes, that's very true.
Epic fail was probably, I don't know, like whatever I didn't really use, like Assault Marines
What didn't do anything? I mean,
well, yeah, the Assault Marines didn't do anything,
But they just didn't get a chance. It's
Yeah.
not like Big Friday fight.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know, everything did reasonably okay. Like they just
Pierre, your epic fail and MVP.
I mean, well, the dice, I think, were my biggest failures. Really. Failed to do a lot of things I tried that should have mathematically worked. But that's an element of the game.
Yeah.
But probably witches, definitely witches. Actually, 10 points for a model.
You can just blame that on GW right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
GW is the epic fail.
exactly.
But I mean, Talos getting killed first turn. I didn't place it for. I made a lot of dumb mistakes this game. I think it was on my part just not placing everything very well, and then everything blown off the table.
I assume MVP was Incubi.
Yeah, because they're the only ones.
Orcubi.
I think they're the only ones who did anything.
Yeah.
Those aren't even my models. But
that was great though. The one unit that caused you grief, you finally just cut the head off.
Yeah, but it would have been better if they went stuck in behind that door. But that jump over the balcony was pretty epic.
I agree with you too. I think the initial deployment was rough.
Initial deployment was rough. Everything I tried to do failed. I never got the chance to fire any Dark Lances successfully at anything.
Yeah.
They always failed to hit. Scourges scattered way off base, weren't able to do any of their Melta fun with their lances.
And I mean, if you never faced the Death Centurions before, right?
No, actually.
So again, yeah, until you know about the 24 inches of doom, and just to avoid it, it's one of those well that unit's gone. It's just one of those shit.
Infiltrate on them from the master
Yeah, so that was
That's I tried my best to deploy and have as much food as I could, so I didn't get shot up first turn. But I could only do so much. Not having first turn is really a really big loss.
I was impressed with the bikes though. I thought the Reaver jet bikes were really cool.
Yeah, I think the jet bikes are really great, pretty good now actually. Like the old ones, the flyover attacks were definitely cool, but they didn't synergize with the rest of their moves because you couldn't shoot the guns and do the flyover attacks. And if you gave them any melee weapons and that didn't work, which is not great, but it does okay.
I love the initiative. I love the fact too they're like pretty much always going to get their hit and run, which is nice.
Well, almost.
Except for
hit and run. But I do like the bites. I like to play with them more. I would probably play with them in smaller groups if this wasn't Highlander, but
yeah, that's it too.
Highlander punishes Dark Eldar so much. They want to do MSU. They
can't do MSU.
They want to do multiple transports. They can't. It's just so painful.
I wish the Ravager was somehow a transport for somebody. That'd be cool. But
no
transport capacity.
Nope. But I think this mostly came down to me being stupid and the dice failing me. But that's how it is.
What did you learn though? Like, what would you apply next time?
Be more careful when different Centurions.
Yeah.
Be very much more careful with the Ravager. Put it way in the back.
Yeah,
in the back.
Yeah, on the back.
Watch the door. Make sure a tank can't just block the door so it can't get out.
That was fun though. You block him, then he blocks you.
Everything else was sort of like I took some risks and the dice didn't pay off. But that's just.
I really did like that last move though. You're gonna block the door. I'll jump off the balcony. Fuck you. Like, go the other way.
For a 200-point unit, they killed some Centurions, but they would have kept rampaging. But there's no point in continuing.
That's like your only source really of AP2 in combat.
Yeah, right? Only source of 3-up armor saves. They're pretty good. They're a lot better than they used to be, except for you can't give them grenades anymore. But
the no scatter deep strike was nice too.
Generally, the lack of grenades is not a huge problem. I think with Incubi because anything that you want to charge with them is something you're going to kill in melee combat anyways.
And usually, I think too. I mean, at the end of the day, they have 3+, which like no one else in the army
3+, 5+.
Exactly.
Feel pain and the homunculus.
So they're sturdy as you can hope for with your list. What did you learn, Clarence, about Dark Eldar? Well, you haven't played them before, so.
Like, I haven't played the new book before, but like, it's not.
When did you play the book?
Like in 5th.
Okay.
But like, there's not a lot to learn because like, it's not a real Dark Eldar list, really. Like, it's like
it's limited.
It's not a good representation of what they can really do.
They have 2 transports.
Because you could really swarm them otherwise.
I would say like, be wary of their AP2 shooting because you can fit a whole lot in. Just like you got bad luck against my stalker and stuff. But like, I don't know. Like you don't let them have turn 1, and you kill what has the most like AP2 shots, and I did that. So.
And it could have been very different too if you had still the initiative about 5 or 6.
Or if you'd gotten if you had been turn 1 regardless.
That's true. True of any game. So overall thoughts on Highlander. It's interesting. I don't know if in every case we're seeing units we don't often see, but sometimes for sure, yeah.
Dreadnought,
Dreadnought. That worked out well enough. Overall, I do like Highlander, and hopefully we can do a couple more events early next year as well as maybe one this year. But so thank you for watching, and we hopefully will have another bat rep sometime next week or two. And stay cool, internet. Don't hate anybody, and don't comment evilly and all that shit. And final words, guys. Cool, man.
Good.
Yeah.
Fight the power.
So definitely swap out those 5 witches.